Do you see a lot of the churches working together? You know, I know that sometimes there's competitiveness, it's human nature, but do you see a lot of the churches all coming together? Or do you see, like, Bob said he's a retired Catholic, and you said there's 4 mega churches. When you're saying that, is that considering the Catholic Church or the Jewish, everything? Do you see people? It seems like I see more churches trying to work together because, like you said, Jeff, we're all in this together. And do you see that happening? Or
I think Jeff needs to speak to that because Love Modesto has been a classic example of that.
And after that, I'm curious, because you have a longer history here than me, so I'm curious to see throughout the years what it's been like. But, you know, I think I've seen that in the last 4 years. I mean, Love Modesto was never about trying to get people to come to our church. Our church name isn't on any of it.
Yeah.
And it was always trying to get people out of our church. You know? And then people from other churches started to show up, and then people from no church at all and different religions, whatever, showed up. And because it's all about how can we make our community better. So for the common good, we can come together. And I'm really grateful for the elders at our church that really saw that saw it as not some way to strategically try to get people. But what's interesting, what happens is when you're out there volunteering, and I've heard so many stories of people say, "Hey, so where are you from?" And, "Hey, are you part of a church family?" "Hey, come with me, come check it out." I mean, so it naturally happens. Whatever church that person goes to, you know, that's how it should be. I think aside, what should I say, blessing, you know, or something I'm really grateful for, isn't just people going out, but a camaraderie that has kind of taken place. And not only in this town, and I think we've got a long ways to go. I think we've been through, at least in my 17 years here. I feel like we're on an upswing. I feel some things that are happening here that are going to bring us closer together. But I've seen in other cities, like there's other cities where their ministerians are kind of struggling, whatever. And then you bring in something like this where they've got a plan together and work together, and all of a sudden they're like getting to know each other more. So the spiritual leaders of the city are talking and planning. I know one city right close to here, there are 3 main guys, and they were not connected. And one of them, they start getting together to plan this thing. And then one of them, his son ran away. Another one was going through a job. His other job was failing. The family, other was his family. All of a sudden, those guys, their ministry is stronger than ever right now. You know, and so how did that happen? Well, because they started to talk. They started to realize we can do something together, and we're not in competition. We're not stealing each other's sheep or whatever. We're trying to get more people out there. And I've seen that in a lot of different cities that it's mainly the ministerials that are kind of, you know, overseeing, you know, these things in these cities. And so they are, because their church, no church name, particular name is on Love Merced or Love Moderator or Love Stockton or Love Oakland or whatever. Their name isn't on there. It's just that. Let's be a part of that. Yeah. But what I think the whole point of even the Love, whatever the city thing, isn't just the church doing it for the city. I mean, our heart is the church doing it with the city. And so we're not us versus them. We're right. You're wrong. We're here to help. You have all the needs. We have all the answers. No. We're all in need. We're all trying to do this together. We are who we are, unashamedly. It's the way of Jesus that has motivated this thing. But
I'm curious to me, Professor, because I have no connection with that wonderful program and your church until I met you. I had no clue.
Good. That was good.
You succeeded. But I'm also curious how you came up with. Was it a moment of meditation and a voice from God? How did that come to be? Love Modesto.
You know, I was a college pastor for 9 years, and so working with young people, millennials, that was just a part of what our group was about. I mean, when we just met together, we were a fairly small group, and we were on MJC's campus a lot and doing compassion things, and we were out in the community and that was just a part of who we are as a group. And so when my church said, "Hey, we want you to be the missions guy," I said, if it's going to be like it is right now, I don't want to do that. But if you're willing to not just write checks for other people to do it out there, but for the whole church family to really consider getting out of the pews in a sense, then I'd be interested. And so when we first started, people weren't real motivated, but we did a monthly thing. But then we kind of said, let's do this a couple times a year, and then
quarterly, Jeff, or
we did. First year we did 3 times, and the last couple of years we did twice, and next year we're going to do it once, just in April. people, which is someone here, because I want to work on a more sustainable thing. I mean, the point of Love Modesto isn't to check your list. Oh, I volunteered this year. No. This is just to get you motivated to do it for the rest of years. I don't want it to be so I've got other sustainable things I'm working on.
Congratulations.
So I think it really is, working with young people that were passionate about, living out their faith, and then looking at other cities across the country and world. It's not unique what's happening here. This is happening in other cities that are, I love Portland. I was just talking this morning to Love Spokane. They want to get a Love Spokane really going up there. And then I got conversations with people all over the place that are doing these kind of things. And so it's a unique movement, of Christian faith inspired people for the most part that are driving these things all over the world. I mean, there are cities that are really getting motivated all over the world to say, let's get out. And so
it's so disappointing you're only going to do it once a year because it's such a beautiful, unifying situation.
There's a lot of people that are disappointed.
But he may come up with another big red idea.
Well, one of our, loveourschools.com, about that one name, domain name. I mean, what I've learned with our schools through Love Modesto is they don't just need pulling weeds and running on their feet. Number one thing they need is mentors and people in our classroom. So I got Love Our School. We're really working with Stanislaus Mentoring right now and others that I want to launch that next August, September. And maybe signs up everybody to Love Our School. Loveourneighborhoods.com. We know when people are out in their neighborhoods and knowing their neighbors, crime will go down. When there's more block parties or different connections with our neighbors, setting your chairs out the front lawn for crying out loud, just where you get to talk with people walking by. So working with some people in our town that are really committed to that. Loveallkids.com, which is we have 636 kids in our community, last number counted, that are foster kids that are needing a healthy, stable home. I mean, they wanting to be adopted. And so. And interesting, remember I said we had 636 churches too, which struck me like a lightning bolt when I heard that number. I was like, well, isn't that interesting? That this is doable. And I mean, one of the hallmarks of the Christian faith for 2,000 years is we take care of the orphan. That's what we do. And so if we did that, if we reduced that number significantly, what would be the future of our gangs? What would be crime? I mean, what would be the future? I mean, it's a systemic solution here. And then finally, loveourfamilies.com. Where we know, man, the breakdown of the family is the root of so much that our challenges here. So, I've got other sustainable dreams that can only happen if I just relieve a few hundred hours that I don't have to do it twice a year and put all of our energies into one. And we'll see how it goes. If it doesn't work, guess what? Next year we'll do it twice again. So.
Jeff said something really important a little ways back. Big Valley is not my competition. They're not my competition. Cross Point isn't my competition. Calvary Temple, whatever other church in the city you want to name, St. Joseph's, that's not our competition. Our competition is NFL football on Sunday night. Our competition is people who will, and I say that not because those things are bad things, because there are times when the thing that a family needs the most is to take a drive on a Sunday morning up to Yosemite. They need to do that. Okay, the week has been intense. The week has been demanding. It's been unrelenting. They just can't. They just need a break. Okay, and now if it becomes driving Yosemite every Saturday or every Sunday, then that's another issue. But those are the things that really are things that we have to get over. The other churches in town are not. We're all working together for the same thing. I do remember a time when it was almost competing sermon titles in town.
Really?
Yeah, because of doctrinal differences. And thankfully those days are gone. And as the story was related to me, the individuals that were involved were responsible for putting that to rest, which is a wonderful thing. Okay, the very proponents of that becoming the ones who say, no, we need to stop this. This needs to be done. And I think that that's really what we see in churches generally, is that there is an embracing of one another as we're in this together. We're doing this together, and that's a very, very good thing.
Let me throw a question on about high tech and the web and internet. reading a recent book where one of the gurus, a young gentleman from Silicon Valley, now has had an epiphany that it's out of control in terms of folks were all guilty in 2012 in any place on the planet